again, Anna. Yes, I am back with another talk session. And today, guys, we're going to do something a little bit different. We are going to share our experience based on whatever we're going to discuss today. And yes, I'm joined by the special guest over here. He's my little brother and I love him so much. But I will let him first introduce himself.
Okay, thank you for allowing me to share this platform with you.
Okay.
Yes. Okay, guys. I come from this country that produced Jerusalem.
Okay.
Ikayala.
Alright.
That's so, yeah, it's South Africa, guys. I'm currently studying medicine here in Russia. I'm in 4th year. Yeah, it's a pleasure to be here with you.
Thank you so much for making our time to come and share your wonderful experience with us. So as I said, guys, we're going to share our experience, and our topic for today is nothing else than dealing with grief. So basically what we're not gonna give you steps how to deal, we're just gonna share experience with you, and you can personally choose to pick up whatever you want to pick up from our personal experiences. So because the reason why I wanted us to talk about our experience, as I said, like most of the time I always tell people that like I realize that most of the time people, when they go through stuff, they end up taking their lives or losing hope, because when they look up at certain people who went through the same situation, they see that these people couldn't come through, they couldn't come out successful, now they lose hope. But if there can be a lot of people making it through situations, making it through circumstances, once they find themselves into the same situations and they realize that, oh, person A and person B, they went through the same things, but somehow they make it through and they came out. You understand? They can look up unto you, and then they receive that amount of strength and encouragement for themselves, that you know what, I can make it too. So with that being said, I'm going to allow my brother here to share his experience with us.
Okay, grief. Most of us, we attribute grief to a certain feeling. The dictionary meaning is that grief is a deep sorrow, but with me, I experienced grief more like a journey. It was a process. I remember it was in 2017 after graduating from matric. Okay, I was really looking forward to this year. It was supposed to be framed by success, like new independence. But out of nowhere, it was as if I was sitting at the beach, enjoying the sun. Suddenly, a tidal wave just came and hit me and dragged me into the ocean. Guys, I lost my mother during the beginning of my academic year. Like someone who was there to advise me academically, who was there to cheer me up. Out of nowhere, I lost my sense of strength, sense of purpose. Someone I was supposed to make proud, like that song that says, Mama, I made it, it lost meaning in my life. Guys. So okay, the first thing that I experienced when I was grieving was denial. I couldn't believe, how can I lose someone in such a time? Like the timing was so bad for me. So to get over that phase, I realized that she's gone after seeing that there are no longer morning texts, no phone calls. Sometimes I didn't know whether I was losing my sense. I even tried to call her number, but no one was answering. That's when I got over that stage of denial. And then I became so angry, so furious, guys, with her, with myself. Can I say I was also angry with God? God, how could you do this to me? This person was supposed to guide me through this year. Since it's the start of something that is new, but she's no longer there. And I was angry with her because it was as if it was her will to just let it go like that, to say, God, it's my time, take me. And with me, it was as if I didn't love her enough for her to remain behind. That took a while, guys. The anger phase really took a while. It took months. And I even tried to go to see a psychologist. Like Sister Anna, when I got there to the psychologist, I thought the psychologist was going to place solutions on the table. You are supposed to be doing this and this and this and that. To my surprise, the psychologist is here interrogating me. She's asking me questions. I was like, what? So I'm the one who's supposed to come up with a solution myself.
Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So you know what I said? I'm never going back here.
Yeah.
Because it looks like the thing that I need to do is self-introspection. Is to find new meaning for my life, new purpose, new sense of joy, new sense of confidence. So all those things I try to find by doing different hobbies. I joined talent shows. I started to join singing groups. Yes, that somehow dealt with the anger phase and the guilt phase, guys. This is quite funny. Okay, before my mom passed away, she had went to see a doctor. I somehow blamed that doctor, how could you not see that this person is so fragile? How could you not? I was blaming the doctor. And I only passed that phase when I came here in Russia and started studying medicine and started to know the different problems, illnesses and stuff, what happens. Yeah, that's when I accepted the loss and finally meeting with someone who can relate. As you talk with different people, you find some that, I have lost my parent, but I made it through. So that's basically when I started to accept that I'm not alone. I was not insane. What I was doing was just a natural process.
It was just a natural process. I love it, because sometimes we get so mad with ourselves, why am I going through this? How can I be going through this? Especially when you are one person who's always strong, before people. When you find yourself in such places, then you get angry with yourself. How can I be so down? How can I be so weak? But guys, it's normal to lose someone and you get hurt, because it's a sign that those people meant so much to you. They were part of your heart, and somehow when they passed on, it's like you lost some part of your heart. You understand? And it's not a joke. You understand? It's not something you just sleep and wake up like that. It's a process. It's something that you need to give yourself time, to heal and to get some new information. What I usually say to people is knowledge is very, very important. I remember I was listening to this other person and he was saying that, it doesn't, most of the time people think it gets better with time, but it usually gets better with knowledge, because the more you receive knowledge about situations, you get the insight about it. And once you get the insight, you get understanding. And once you have the understanding about something, it's like you receive strength. And when you receive strength to stand up and do something with your situation. But once you are sitting there no, it will be better with time. You are at the same position. It's like you're not shifting. But when you get more light about your situation, it's more like you are getting strength to shift, from one position to another. And one thing also I also want to say, guys, is don't be hard on yourself. Just because it took someone 2 months to get through whatever it is, maybe you might be going through the same thing, and you find yourself, now it's been 6 months. Don't be too hard on yourself. I know there are some people who can be putting pressure on you. You've been crying, you've been saying things, and stuff like that. But you need to know that you are yourself, and you handle things the way you handle. What's important is you have to have that hope that I have to get through this. That is what is important. It doesn't matter how long it takes for you to get through it.
Yes. Okay, on that point, you saying that people will be saying it gets better with time. I feel like time is just a patch that you apply on the wound.
Sure.
It doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to heal the wound. It's just protecting the wound from outside infections. What you need to do as a person is go out there, look for information. You need to equip yourself with information so that you can move on as time goes on.
And I love when you were saying that it's more like you're just patching on something that hasn't healed. One thing I remember I was talking to a friend and I was saying to a friend, it is so dangerous to bury things. Because I remember during our last talk session, we're talking about the power of the mind, and we're talking about how things that are rooted in our subconsciousness have so much power in our behavior, in the way we speak. Why am I saying this? It's because most of the time we find ourselves behaving in a certain way. Like you yourself, you don't understand why is it that I get so irritated whenever I have to get around people. You don't understand because nothing specifically happened 2 weeks ago or a month, but you don't realize that it is related with one time or 10 years ago. It happened that 10 years ago you lost your loved one, but you didn't have enough time, enough knowledge to deal with it. You know, you just buried it, and you buried it alive. You know, in your consciousness, yes, it's no longer there, but in your subconsciousness, it's there, and because it's there, it keeps on affecting your life.
Okay, on that point of us burying like the feeling, I think like it's not a good thing to bury the feeling. You need to feel it to heal it. So like with us in our tradition, in South Africa, they will be saying like males are not supposed to cry. When you are a male, you are a sheep, you are not supposed to cry. And that leads to a lot of things. Like we see violent fathers, husbands, many relationships are broken. Guys, whenever you feel the pain, express that pain at the specific time that you are feeling it. Don't prolong it. Express it at that time. It's a good thing to show your weakness sometimes.
Yes, of course.
Don't be putting a strong face, because it was said once. I once saw something that says we need to check up on those friends that are strong. Because there are things that they are experiencing behind, and they are just hiding it with a strong face.
Yes. And as I said, at the end of the day, that is why we have people who would like medical who say they had a nervous breakdown.
Thank you.
It's because that thing has been, and you know, they were laughing all the time. They were like going through with their life all the time, but this thing was busy eating them, even without them being aware. But one day they just got like a nervous breakdown like that. Emotionally, we also get a breakdown. That is why sometimes someone we know that this person used to be so sweet. We know that this person used to be so patient with people. We know that this person used to show a certain special character. But all of a sudden, the person changes like that. The person becomes so bitter and everything. And it's not even they themselves. It's not like they woke up and planned it. You know, it just happened because there was something eating them inside without even them realizing, because they never took time to deal with things. And you know, as I said, some people don't deal with it because they don't know how. You know, that is why, as I said earlier, that it is very, very important for us to have knowledge on how to deal with them. Because some people, they just decide, let me just bury it like that, because they don't know how to deal with it. It's more like you are sweeping the floor, but you don't know how to pick and clean up everything. You just decide, you know, I can see a meteor, I can just take the dirt and put it.
But it's still there. It's like still you haven't gotten rid of it.
It's still there. You understand? And it's still gonna, you know.
And the thing that we do is like we pile it up until it bursts, like it shows. That's then we'll be saying, how could someone kill themselves? She was looking happy, this and that.
Of course. Yes. Of course. So guys, for me, okay, let me just share my experience. Okay, so for me, what happened with me is I lost my mom last year around August, and it came, okay, you know, most of the time when you talk to people that, you know, I lost someone, and maybe they are close friends, and maybe they happen to have known that maybe your mother or your father, whoever that has, you know, passed on, used to be sick. First thing they'll say, but you know, the person was sick. But one thing I always tell people is nobody's ever ready to lose their loved ones. Whether they were murderers, whether they were bad people, whether they were sick, nobody is ever ready to lose their loved ones. So for me, what was happening is I always knew that my mom's health was not, you know, I'm telling you, but I was never ready to lose her. Why am I saying this? It's because most of the time, guys, the things that I was even pursuing in life, they were surrounded by the fact that, you know what, I want to make it through, I want to be successful, because there were things I wanted to change in my mom's life, you know. And the moment she passed on, I remember you said something about feeling purposeless, you know. I remember the moment she passed on, somehow, like, because now everything, most of the things I was pursuing, it was because my mom was the center. You know, I want to see myself reaching the certain stage so that I change certain things in my mom's life. So when she passed on, it was like now I lost the sense of purpose. And one thing, guys, I realized is once you lose the sense of purpose, you no longer want to live.
You don't have a driving force. You don't have something that repels you forward. You will just become stagnant there. Stagnancy doesn't bring about growth.
I'm telling you. And once it's like that, you don't see the reason of living anymore. That is why some people, they end up taking their lives because they no longer see the reason of living. You understand? So that was basically what happened with me. And as you spoke about the denial phase, guys, my denial phase was so long. Like, my mom passed on around August. Only in December, that was when, like, my brain comprehended and it got so
she's
real.
No longer there.
You know, she's no longer there. And it was the worst thing ever.
Yeah.
That was when I got to the phase of, like, anger phase. Because,
when reality kicks in,
you understand? Like, I was so much thoughts were going on, like so much pain. And you know, the pain I was experiencing, you know, one thing I always tell people is emotional pain is the worst. Why? Because, like, when you have a scar on your body, at least you can see that, you know what, it's here on my thumb, and you know that you can hold it and stop the bleeding.
Yes.
Or maybe you can just wash it,
you
apply
can even take painkillers.
Of course, you can put something and then it heals. But once it is emotional, once it is inside, like, you don't even know where to touch.
No wonder if, like, people will be looking mad. Like, it's that feeling, you don't know what to do with yourself. You will be holding your head, just going around. And
you know, you start looking for, you know, you try this, you try that, you try this, because you're trying to numb the pain. But you find that, you know what, you keep on coming to square one. You know, the pain is still there. You are trying to do this, you're trying to do that, the pain is still there. So basically, for me, guys, how I deal with grief is, okay, for me, like, I've always been a believer in God.
Hallelujah.
I'm not religious, number one, but I believe in relationship with God, heavy relationship. Why I say relationship is because I feel like religion is more like you are expected to be perfect, you are expected to behave in a certain way and stuff. But relationship, it's more like you are a child. You know, it's like, you know, when you are with your mom, you know that I have to respect my mom, and this is how far I can go. But you are free. You understand? You know that to be yourself. You know that even when I make mistakes, Mama will forgive me and take me back. It's not like you're just gonna wake up and say, I'm gonna do mistakes because I know that she's gonna forgive me. But you know you are free. You're no longer afraid. You understand? That is why I always tell people that it brings freedom when you have relationship with God more than when you are in religion. Because when you're in religion, when you do mistakes, you start condemning yourself, you know, and you feel like you are the worst person ever. But when you're in a relationship, you know I am loved. You know, there's never a mistake huge more than my Father's love. So what basically happened was, I've always walked with God and experienced God. But I want to tell you one thing. I've never experienced God like the way I experienced God through the anger phase. And you know what happened was, my anger phase, I got into my anger phase exactly when this corona thing started. So it was more like I had an opportunity to be with God on my own.
God's timing is always the best.
I'm telling you, because maybe I would have found myself around people who would have made me feel like, you know what, I need to bury this more than expressing it. And then I end up changing. But when I was with God, He was allowing me to express my anger, to express how I feel, you know, to be angry. And you know, I would be repeating the same thing more than 3 weeks. When I cry, I'm still complaining about the one thing. Like, today I tell him, you know, I'm angry because I wanted to do this for my mom, you know, and then he says a word that comforts me. Tomorrow again, I'm crying again with the same thing, and he wasn't saying, you know what, you are
if you were telling me those things, I was gonna wash my hands on you.
Because but he was so patient with me. He allowed me to be myself and took me through every step. And I don't want to lie, like, as I said, the pain when you experience it,
Yes.
you don't even know where to touch, you don't even know what to do because it is inside and you
Yes.
can't touch it with your bare hands.
You can't.
You understand? So as the Bible says that our weapons of warfare are not carnal, but they are mighty through God. I had to now use the word of God to comfort myself. You know, like, yeah, you know, I studied the Bible, I used to meditate, but at that moment, it was no longer an option. It was a need, it was a must. I knew that I was never gonna be able to sleep or even get through the day without meditating on God's word because the pain was too much. The pain was too much, and I didn't want to go for other options because already I was seeing that some people, as they were going for other options, they were not helping them. So I was like, no, I cannot go for this
for
one.
instance,
You understand?
I tried to go to a psychologist, it didn't work out. Yes.
You know, but then also, guys, we're not saying we shouldn't go to psychologists. We are different, and we are like different things are working for us.
Yes.
You understand? But we are just, that's why at the beginning I told you that, you know what, we are not saying these are the steps to, you know, but we are just sharing our experience with you. Maybe somehow you might relate some way. That is why we said, you know what, today we're just gonna come and share our experiences with you. So guys, for me, basically that is how I got through it. I had to meditate on God's word daily and subject all the negative thoughts, all the voices of anger that were rising in my heart and my mind. I had to bury them. I had to come to an understanding. I needed a message, a word from God to tell me. As I said, the more you receive knowledge, the more you receive strength to move from one point. So I needed to receive some message to move from the point of anger phase to where I know that, you know what, I've accepted and now I'm dealing with this. You understand? And from that point, I realized that, guys, whether we deny it or not, there are certain things that we go through life that only the one that created us can actually help us. Because like even we ourselves, we don't even understand how to deal with it. You know, that is why most of the time people, they find themselves in the situations whereby, oh my God, they don't even know where to start, and as a result, they go for options that most of the time lead them to the way of destruction.
Yes, on that note, we saying that you need to have a relationship with God. I think times like that, there are times that test your relationship. If your relationship with God was not that strong, it will have been broken. So we should cherish such times because they are the times that strengthen our relationship with God, and they leave us vulnerable so that we can be more dependent on God and His way. Like for me, instance, that year I think was framed by this scripture that says everything is working for a good. So whatever pain that I experienced, I knew that everything was working for my good. Indeed, good things did happen that year. I got a scholarship to come and study medicine here in Russia. So guys, when bad things are happening, I think it's your preparation for God's blessings. For how you are going to handle those blessings. Yes.
Wow, thank you so much for this time and sharing with us your experience. Guys, I hope that you are blessed, because for me, just listening to his testimony, I'm really inspired. As I said, I wouldn't say I have arrived, you know. I'm still, dealing, I'm still dealing with it. You understand? But as I said, the more I receive new knowledge, and especially the one that is building me up, then the more I take one step at a time. I'm no longer where I used to be yesterday, but I'm not yet where I want to be. You understand? But I'm still, going. That is why I was like, okay, let's just come and share with people. Because one thing I realized that sometimes you don't even have to wait to arrive at a destination to share with people, but just share with them how far you've come.
You know what, Sister Anne? You saying that like you don't have to arrive at a destination. I think we as people, we need to enjoy the journey more. Destination is just a bonus. Of course. And share with people. As people who are inspired to influence people in a positive manner. Influence your world.
You understand? And be an example to the world. Tell them your story. Show them. Don't just tell them. Because sometimes people would love to influence people in a positive manner. Sometimes they tend to hide. they always want to appear strong and
Yes.
positive. But you need to be vulnerable to people. Show them, you understand, that you know what, this I was once in this point. Let them see that, because once they see it, they'll be encouraged that, you know what, I saw her going through this, I saw her crying, I saw her down on her
She
knees,
conquered, guys.
but somehow she came out through.
Yes.
You understand? And that, I'm telling you, one thing I realize with people is what they see stays more than what they hear most of the time. Like when you tell them, oh, this,
Actions speak louder than words.
you understand?
Yes.
So most of the time, people, their minds, they stay with what they've seen.
Yes.
Yeah. So guys, I hope you were blessed by what we shared with you. Thank you so much for tuning in, and please don't forget to share, like,
Yes.
comment,
Yes.
and subscribe.
Please,
But
guys.
most importantly, guys, me personally, I would love to hear your testimony. How did you deal with your grief? What was your experience? And please don't forget to share your story.
Okay, one last thing before we go. Guys, don't isolate yourselves.
Wow.
Isolation, you will be overthinking things that don't even exist. You will
Yeah.
be like, the thoughts will just be piling in. So guys, try to distract yourself, go meet up with people, try to live your normal life.
Yeah.
Don't be isolated somewhere alone in the dark. Please, guys.
Okay. Thank you so much, guys. Bye.